Hey everybody, welcome back. I must say I'm a little bit tired of all this theory and duality and functions and so on. Let's write some code. And in particular, let's write some kind of simple examples using observables. In the jam sessions, we will show some bigger demos, but here I just want to show you the basics of using observables in a real program. And the program we're going to show here is the following. We're first going to generate an observable streams that will fire a value every 1 second. And something like a clock or some temporal stream like that is the ultimate example of an asynchronous stream. You're not going to ask every second, give me the next value. No, every second a new value will be delivered to you automatically, whether you want it or not. It's a little bit like the old-fashioned newspaper. Every morning it just shows up on your doorstep, assuming that you're still reading a paper newspaper, and it's just kind of coming at you. And then at some point, when you don't want it anymore, you unsubscribe from the newspaper. And the same here. When you're finished listening to this stream, finishing getting something every so often, you just unsubscribe from it. But since observables are collections, and monads, we have all the operators available over collections, just like iterables. So for example, we can filter them. And in this case here, you see that we're filtering out all the ticks that are even. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to group these ticks together in chunks of 2 shifted by 1. And for that, we have the operator sliding buffer that takes 2 parameters, the count, so that's the length of our buffer, and then how far to skip. And we're going to subscribe to the result of buffering that stream into chunks of 2 shifted by 1 by just doing a print line, and then we do a read line in between there, and then we unsubscribe. Now read line is deprecated, so I don't dare to show it on the slide, but I'm using it anyway because it's convenient. Okay, when we run this code, we will see that it will print 0, 2, so it has first filtered out 1, and then it groups these in 2, and then we get 2, 4, 4, 6, etc. So here you see how this program works. Now I mentioned a couple of times, when you're dealing with these collections, and especially when you're dealing with RX collections, observable collections, it's a really good idea to draw these marble diagrams. And a marble diagram is a diagram where time goes from left to right. So you see there the arrow of time. And then there's marbles on that line that denote the values that appear at a certain point in time. So if we look at the marble diagram for ticks, it will have 0, 1, 2, etc. With the spacing in between there being 1 second. Now, notice that what 1 second means is completely abstract. In particular, RX has the notion of virtual time, and in this case, 1 second corresponds to 1 second on wall clock time, but it doesn't have to be like that at all. Now the next thing is we're going to filter out all the ticks that are even. We just use the regular filter, passing it a predicate, and that will drop out all the odd numbers from the stream. And then finally, where we're using the sliding buffer, and there you see we're kind of taking chunks of 2 shifted by 1. And there is the output. So this, I really recommend whenever you're stuck, even with iterables, but especially with observables, draw these marble diagrams. They will be tremendously helpful. And let's finish off by showing how this looks in the IDE. Here I'm using IntelliJ. Here you see our main program There's ticks, evens, buffers. I'm subscribing here. You see read line. Promise you, I still use it, even though it's deprecated, so it's crossed out. And then I unsubscribe. So in this case, I run this code, and what happens is that it prints out 202, 24, etc. Then I hit return, and then the stream gets unsubscribed, and then I don't get any new values. Okay. The other interesting thing here is that if you look here, you see all the types that are available in Rx. And in the next few lectures, we will discuss many of them, but we won't have time to discuss all of them. But you can see them right there. And as I said, in the jam sessions, we will show you some cool examples of simple games and so on, all using Rx. But remember, nothing beats writing code yourself. So really, whenever you're trying to solve one of the solutions, or you're trying to follow the code, just type it in your favorite IDE and play around with it, such that you get a better understanding. Thank you so much, and see you next week.